As always, Bruce Hill, New Skills, New You, and I'm talking to a tech startup working on a position as business development manager for them. And a lot of y'all think that being an entrepreneur means starting your own company and don't realize you can be an entrepreneur within a company. Startups are a great environment for that. So and actually, I'm gonna send this to them. I'm gonna send this video so you guys can watch me make the video. How I plan on doubling the sales pipeline in 6 months. It's ambitious. However, it's possible. It's going to take some effort. It's going to take some strategy. But here's how we're going to make it work. First things first, no matter how smart you are, how much experience you have, how much hustle you have, if you do the wrong things the right way, they're still the wrong things. Okay? So, what are the right things? Let me turn this bolt off. This is the first thing. This is the first question I need to ask. And this is why 6 months and not 90 days. That first 30 days should be collaborating. I want to work with marketing, work with the sales team, and I probably would talk to leadership. Now, depending on how the organization is structured, some of these might overlap, right? Some people want to wear multiple hats. And that's where startups is such a great entrepreneurial environment, or as Peter Drucker calls them, an intrapreneurial environment, because you have to innovate. You can't just show up, sit around and wait for them to tell you what to do. You got to bring ideas to the table. You got to execute. You have to be self-driven. If you need everything written down for you, you might want to wait a few years. I've seen startups scale at different rates, depending on the leadership in place, how rigid they are. But what keeps most of them successful is their flexibility, is how nimble they are. And that environment can be tough. So while there is some level of structure that needs to be had in order to achieve success, right? Consistent behavior creates consistent results. You also have to say, hey, listen, what can we do more of? There's 3 questions. What can we do more of? What can we do less of? Things that aren't working, maybe things that aren't creating a good return on the amount of effort. And what can we start doing? What are some things we're not doing right now that we can do, we should be doing to get us where we want to go faster? So the first things first is collaboration with these teams. Let's go to marketing. Marketing, we're going to talk about messaging. Okay. Who is, and honestly, this is going to overlap with sales, but one thing at a time. Who is the ideal client? What size is the company? Maybe employee count, revenue, locations. It depends on your business. What do they care about? I'm sorry, who are we talking to? The next question is going to be, what do they care about? There's either a problem or a promise. The problem is something that's holding them back from where they want to go. The promise is where they want to go. They're on the right track, but they might want to get there faster or smoother. And then let's talk to sales. Let's go talk to the sales team. Actually, before we go to sales, let's talk about collateral. This is, or we might call it marketing materials. So if I say, hey, if I have an ebook, if I have infographics, even email copy, what else? Let's do a playbook. I love those. Case studies. And some of y'all say, oh, sales should be doing that. I'm not going to argue with you about who's doing this. This is just who I see does this more often. And honestly, sales and marketing should be having co-meetings at least once a week. These are marketing material. This is collateral. Now let's go to the sales team. We're going to talk communication channels. Basically, how are we connecting, not reaching out to, connecting to the client? So the marketing team, there's awareness and it's education. It's the sales team's job to have education and conversations. All right. So let's make this plain. Awareness and then education, especially if they never heard of you. And then there's education. Ooh, come on. And a conversation, right? This is where sales and marketing overlaps right here in this education. And I think it's important to understand because these are not two separate functions. These are two ways to approach the same function. They have to coordinate. So as a business development manager, I've seen some people, that's a direct report to the chief marketing officer. I've seen in other companies, it's direct report to the chief revenue officer. I saw one company, the chief revenue officer was over the head of sales and the head of marketing because they knew that marketing drives awareness, and that awareness drives conversations. And that's where the sales team comes in. So I want to know how we're connecting with the client. Why do they decide to buy? So the business development manager won't always close deals. Again, it's case by case, but they have to understand why they decide to buy in order to initiate a conversation and not just moving to the next step, but move the right people to the next step. So you could set appointments all day, but if there are people that can't say yes or we can't help, then you're wasting everybody's time. This is the first 30 days. I work on my collaboration. I'd make sure I'm clear on the messaging, and I have access to materials in order to help me educate the client or potential client on why they should even talk to us. If these don't exist, create them. Business development manager is going to work hand in hand with the marketing team to create them. So they might fill in the blanks. Marketing team makes it look appealing, right? When we talk about the sales team, they are the ones having conversations with the clients. That is a very important part of maximizing and seeing ROI on the marketing team's efforts. Now, if it's a e-commerce brand, maybe a direct-to-consumer brand, maybe you don't have a dedicated sales team because the emails are going to drive sales. But when we're talking about a SaaS product or an enterprise level sale, you're going to have a conversation. It's just the way things go. Till artificial intelligence changes that, I'm going to have a job. And I don't think they can because human beings are emotional. So it's not about facts. It's not about data. It's about emotions. And I'm writing this in 2024. Right now, human beings need human beings. Let's see. Why did they decide to buy? Okay. So that's first 30 days. Let's go to the next 60 days. We're going to build a customer profile. Now, we're going to work with both the sales team. Sorry about that. There we go. We're going to work with both the sales team and the marketing team to define ideal customer profile from existing customers. This is important. Existing customers. So what do I mean by that? I'm going to go and ask some of these same questions. Why did they buy? When did they buy? It's really easy. What sector or vertical are they in? It's really easy to say, hey, I just brought on a new client last month in the same sector or vertical as you. I'd really love to tell you how we helped them and why they decided to go with us. Are you available tomorrow at 3? If I can, I'm gonna get some testimonials, uh, written or video. I can get a video. It's great. It builds more credibility. At least for the time being, it's tough to spoof, right? What else do I need? Existing customers. Oh. I want to know where they are. Now, geography doesn't matter as much in this digital world, but human beings are still tethered to physical space. What do I mean? I mean to get all philosophical on you. But think about it. If I sell 2 customers in Atlanta, the 3rd customer in Atlanta is going to be a lot easier. Say, hey, listen, I have 2 new customers last month in your vertical, in your city. Here's their testimonial. If this resonates with you, does it make sense to talk? Who's not opening that email? Who's not responding to that LinkedIn message? It makes, we're not convincing anyone. I don't. If you want to convince people, I guess. I want to attract the right customer. The best way to do that is to use your existing customers. So you know what I'm going to do? Actually, I'm going to go back up here. I want to talk to the customer success team. Now, smaller company, that might be the sales team. But, excuse me, not but. And it's important that once we get a client, we keep them happy. People get clients and they stop doing the things that got the client in the first place. You're not going to have a lasting business doing that. Customer success means treating them like gold, even after they've paid you, especially after they paid you. Let me see if I can find this real quickly. Let me see, 3 March. There it is. I talked about this last week in my live Q&A. Let me see if I can get the recording over here. Beautiful. We talked about why customer success is so valuable. And customer success is sales success. If you want a copy of this, just shoot me a message. I'll get it to you. I don't want to get too far off topic because this team may not exist in a startup, in an early stage startup. You're less than 5 years, less than 100 employees, but that doesn't mean the job function isn't there. All right, let's keep moving on. So I want to shout out to the customer success team. So we've got sales, customer success, customer profile. Now, in the process of doing this and asking these questions and talking to clients, say, hey, listen, I'm Bruce from blank. I just started last month. You've been a client longer than I worked here. You mind if I ask you a few questions about your experience as we continue to grow and improve? We want to serve you better. Most clients are going to say, yeah, if they're happy. If they're not happy, I'd rather know about it now than when it's time for them to renew. Right? Right. So it's going to be invaluable insight. And really, honestly, there's no better sales training. You know, I could teach all the overcoming objection, persuasion, price positioning, spin selling, snap selling, gap selling, a challenger sale. Bro, talk to your customers. All right, let's keep rolling. So that's 60 days. Let's see, what else do I need to do in those first few days? I'd probably add them on LinkedIn. Then we're going to circle back to that when we talk about social selling. So let's talk about tools. Let's talk about tools. Tool set, or sometimes I call it tech stack. What tools are we using to do our job? It seems silly, it seems simple, but it's important. Because really all you need is a name and number and a cell phone. But we've got to be more efficient than that. So you got to have a CRM. I love PopDrive. I like HubSpot. HubSpot's solid. I don't know why this font's so small. 1 second. There we go. No Salesforce. I don't care. It's becoming too cumbersome for the price. Let me see here. There used to be a way I could. was going to do a strike through. That's fine. I'll worry about that later. No Salesforce. Let's run lean. Let's run efficiently. That's scalable. And I don't have to hire a whole new person in order to do it. Now, listen, if you got 100 plus sales rep, maybe Salesforce. And I do work alongside sales admins on making that transition to Salesforce. I can do it. But you have less than 100 sales reps, one of these two will do it. If you got less than 25, oh, actually, a huge shout out to One Page CRM. Love those guys. Keep it simple. And I think I wrote an ebook on this. Maybe, let me see here. CRM made simple ebook. Yes. All right, Bruce with the sales collateral. I love it. All right, let's see. We got a CRM. I think HubSpot is built in. One Page may have it built in. Pipedrive, you'll need to use Aircall or JustCall in order to start placing calls in text. Integrate seamlessly so it tracks the activity, records the calls. That's important. Must be able to record. And there's two reasons for that. It's quality assurance. You ever hear that when you call someone? This call may be recorded for quality assurance purposes. But it also protects you. The client's like, I never said that. I'm like, hey, we got this recording. If the rep says, hey, I never said that, hey, we've got the recording. So that's important to protect the business and to honor and work in integrity. All right, so Aircall, JustCall, it should have a direct integration, whatever it is. And sometimes this can be more cost effective. Oh, who are we calling? Where are we getting this data from? So existing clients is easy. We already have their information. I like Sales Intel. I like Cognism was pretty good. Cognism. Let's talk data. I think Lead IQ was decent. And Apollo. Actually, I'm really loving. Didn't like them at first, but as they've evolved, it's a solid tool when we talk about getting raw data for generating conversations. Social tools. These guys keep going up on the price, but Sales Navigator is still the best LinkedIn tool. And they did that on purpose, right? There's no competition because they're the only one. That's the only option. But an invaluable tool. And again, whichever you choose, make sure it integrates. I know it integrates with these two. I have not personally tried to integrate it with One Page, but you can use something like Link Match. You can pull data from it pretty easily. Sales Navigator. Okay. Personalization. Let's talk Loom. Actually, what I'm recording this on right now, or Vidyard. This one has a direct integration with LinkedIn, so it does have a competitive advantage there. I personally use voice notes in LinkedIn, but not video. I just stick with Loom. It's easy enough to copy and paste. No love lost. But that personalization is huge. All right, let's talk about email copy, or not even email, just any written copy. So that's going to take care of our conversation. Let's talk about written copy. Jarvis, or they keep changing the name. I think it's Jasper now. Writer's good. And I think it's called CopySmith. These are AI tools to help with sales copy. This should be coordinated with the marketing team to make sure your messaging has one voice. But I think it's important to leverage these tools to work more efficiently. And the goal is to put your experience, knowledge, and creativity into it, and it helps polish and refine. You do not want it to replace you. Don't tell it, hey, write me 5 emails. I'm not sure what it would come up with. You say, hey, I'm talking to this job title about this problem. Write me 5 emails based on our unique value proposition. That's a very different prompt. That's going to give you a very different answer. They're going to be much more effective. All right, so that's the first 90 days. So we got some good tools. Let's see if I'm missing anything that I use. I really do keep it simple. CRM should have reporting in it so we can track our progress and effectiveness. We already have a strategy when I talk to existing customers. Oh, let me write this down out loud. outreach strategy. So let's talk about applying it on. And this is why I love doing these videos live, because I got to get all of this information experience out of my head. I got to put it down on paper. This is probably going to end up a book or something. All right, so outreach plan. So first things first, I want to start around your headquarters. That's the first thing. Hey, this is Bruce from New Skills New You, headquartered right here in Atlanta. I'm calling you because. Second, grow around existing clients. I personally believe, oh, that reminds me, physical mail. Yes, physical mail. And in person. This is going to be part of our outreach strategy, but it's part of our structure. I think send out cards. Send out cards is probably one. Just because I know Lori Delk, shout out to her. She's been amazing over the years as far as a networker or a connector. People are so used to emails, or so used to LinkedIn messages, are not used to getting cards. And you might argue, oh, well, what if they're not in the office? Listen, if I call you and say, hey, did you get my card? You're not going to hang up on me. You're going to be like, what? What card? All right, it changes the conversation. Hey, I sent you a card because you are this title. You're probably dealing with this problem, and I'd like to help. Is that okay? You're going to get more meetings. You've got to be different. And I really see as AI goes up, we're going to go down in simplicity. We're going to have more physical mail, more in person. Dress well, smile. Right, all these things that the marketing made. Let me just go back up here. All right, these things, I get physical copies. So we go down here, all the way down here. Here we go. We have something to talk about. We have something to hand them. And that's important too, just in case they're not there at the time. You don't want to just walk away. Don't leave them the card. You want to make sure you give them something tangible. I'm telling you, as the world goes digital, tangible media is going to become more and more invaluable. All right, outreach plan. Let's see, start around the HQ, grow around existing clients. So these are physical markers, which is important. I think is a really good place to narrow it down. There's tens of thousands of companies that in that mid-market to enterprise space. But well, let's not say that. So let's target a vertical. You have to be careful with verticals because you'll end up specializing, and other verticals that could be very lucrative will be neglected. But vertical allows you to be an expert, allows you to kind of hone your talk tracks. Because if you talk to all manufacturing companies over 500 employees, you're going to start to learn their jargon and be able to communicate them with force more effectively. But I want to recommend starting with a physical filter first and then narrow down to these. So that's who. Now let's talk about how. All the things I just mentioned, it's going to be all above. It's going to be a multi-channel approach. Be careful with text. Don't get the company fined, okay? Don't injure yourself up out of a job because you will spam people. Webinar. Let's see, email, call, social media. Perfect. Oh, nope, not done. If you're visiting a client, I would schedule in-person meetings with potential clients. Whether you invite them to a little happy hour mixer, that's really very low pressure, group environment, and it can be a good excuse for them to get out of the office, or if you go visit them directly. Either way, and this is where this is so important, growing existing client. Say, hey, I'm in town to visit a client. We help them overcome problem by solution. I'd love to introduce ourselves. See how you're dealing with the same thing. Are you available Wednesday? They'll say, oh no, I can only do Thursday. Oh well, I'm not in town Thursday. I'll call you back. We'll get something. No, don't call back. Sorry. Let's get something virtual for the following week once I'm back in the office. And schedule a Zoom or Google Meet. Oh, that's what I forgot. Let me go back up to the tech stack. Let's go. Virtual meeting. I love Google Meet. Not a huge fan of Teams, and Zoom is pretty popular. But Google is going to give Zoom a run for their money as we continue to go forward. Watch. But look, all of these need to be able to record. Back to the basics. All right, let's see. Multi-channel approach. So staying organized. The CRM should have something called a sequence. I might call it a cadence. There's tools like SalesLoft. I did a transition from Outreach to SalesLoft once for a tech startup. That was a unicorn. That was actually a really fun project, and it was a good experience. I liked. I don't know. They're both good. Depends on your organization. Reach out to me if you have questions about which one you should choose. These can add up really quickly, so I recommend them at least 10 reps before it really makes sense. And I think they have minimums. You might need to have a minimum of 3 seats to even consider these options. These are enterprise options, okay? HubSpot does these pretty well enough. 5 to 10 reps. So let's not spend money just because they're cool, shiny gadgets. Let's make sure it has a positive ROI, has a positive impact on our productivity. And then, now this is the part. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Be creative and hustle some more. All these fancy, like you have the guideline, you have the plan. When we talk about outreach, I probably recommend 13 touches over 5 weeks. It's consistent enough to break through the noise, but not too much where you end up getting blocked or cussed out. Shout out to Prospecting Problems, a great book I'm reading right now for that metric. This is still important. Stay organized. And then if they don't respond within that time, throw them in a nurturing campaign. None of that works unless you do the work. None of that will work unless you do the work. So when I say you can double your sales pipeline in 6 months, having a dedicated person, just one, there's many thoughts about this. I recommend at least 1 to 2. If you have a really good sales rep with the bandwidth and it's a shorter sales cycle, I would say 2 BDRs to 1 really good sales rep. 1 business development rep to 2 sales reps. If he's good, should keep them all busy, especially with a mid-market enterprise. You don't want to overwhelm those sales reps, because then they start dropping the ball and start losing revenue. We start missing opportunities. Eventually, you're going to see a shift where you almost will be 1-to-1 business development reps to sales reps. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. If you have less than 10 reps and this may be your first, or you have just a few business development team members, you can double your sales pipeline by being able to answer these questions, by having these tools in place, and then staying organized, and then adding this magic ingredient. About 6 months. Now, will you close those deals? That depends on you. That depends on your deal life cycle. But if you follow these instructions, you execute, you can double your sales pipeline in 6 months. Hey, I'm Bruce Hill. New skills, new you. One new skill will change your life.